One day late to the party, but welcome to 2022. Yeah, I didn't make this video yesterday because I was just too tired and yeah, enough of that. But today, welcome to 2022. This is the Halo 2 video, and pandemic is still running wild. PlayStation 5s are still extremely hard to get, but something extremely miraculous happened at the very end of the last year. Halo 2 was fucking released finally. Like, the game was initially supposed to come, I think sometime in 2019 summer of 2019. Got my coffee here. It was delayed about 2.5 fucking years, but finally it's here. And if you are one of the few watching this and actually interested about Halo 2, this is it. I've played it hour or two about now, and let me just say this. Of course you can read it from the fucking thumbnail and the text of this video, but the game is actually good. Yes, you heard it. It's actually good this time, unlike the first game. And I'm really relieved that they didn't mess this one up after all these fucking delays. And the game in the end is actually pretty good. It's not perfect, but then again, I didn't really expected it to be like very good game. I mean, it's somewhere between good and very good. Well, at least after 1 or 2 hours of gameplay. But let's go to the details a little bit. So, first of all, the gameplay, that was the biggest fail and flaw of the first game, has been hugely improved. The gameplay is now much faster, much more fluid. The frame rate is much smoother, more fluid, and it didn't have these frame rate hiccups like the first game had. And the performance on Switch, and I'm of course talking about the Switch version of the first Halo, but the frame rate was just quite horrible at times, not always, but the performance is definitely much improved here. So this time actually the shooting and the whole gameplay is actually fun. Like, compared to the first games, just so horrible and very far from fun gameplay, torturous gameplay. And I really love, also the graphics has been improved quite a bit. Uh, the first game was quite okay looking, uh, but I would say Halo 2 looks, for a Switch game, looks really, really good actually. Uh, I would even say it's one of the, okay, maybe not one of the, not on the top of the best looking FPS games on Switch. That pretty much goes to Crysis games and yeah, uh, some others. But it definitely looks very good on Switch. Uh, yeah, the graphics are huge improvement also, and I just love the graphic style. It's very similar to the first game's graphic style. It's greedy. It's like purposely. It's very greedy, muddy kind of, but it really fits the game's mood perfectly, I would say. But yeah, this time there's just, I would say, more details to the graphics. I mean, the textures and just uh, colors are much more vivid. Uh, and about the sound next, I would say the sound is pretty much on the par with the first game, because the sound department of the first game was already very good. It was one of those few highlights of the first game that I actually really liked, and the sequel is on the par with it. Uh, Again, the audio side of the game is very good. The ambient, very subtle ambient music uh, when there are no enemies is really atmospheric. Really love that. And when the action picks up and there will be enemies on the screen, uh, the music just changes to kind of industrial rock metal style of music, and it really fits well. I actually like. I can't really remember where there a kind of action music on the first Halo game, but I think there was. But I just can't remember what kind of music that was. Maybe similar to, industrial uh, rock metal. But yeah, I really love the action music also in Halo 2. So yeah, the audio side of the game is as good as in the first game, and also the just cracking sounds and stuff when there are no enemies, uh, they are just very good to build the atmosphere of the game. The kind of similar sounds like in the first game, that there's just some subtle cracks and just playing with the sounds, the game playing with the sounds when there are actually no enemies, but kind of gets you on the edge with those sound effects. uh, Great stuff. And then Well, something about about the gameplay. So there are, unlike on the first game, there wasn't any kind of shop, and it in this sequel there is a shop, but it's a very minimal. You can just at certain points of the game, usually when the game auto saves, you go to these monitors where you can buy health items, weapon boosts, etc., uh, ammo for weapons. You can buy and when you kill enemies you collect stones, which acts as currency for the game, and you can use those stones to buy stuff from the shop. It's very minimal, but still it's a great addition to the game that the first game didn't have. But next to the puzzles that were also quite good in the first game, there was some very challenging puzzles in the first game that I really had to look for it on the internet to get the solution. But of course I'm not sure of the sequel, because I've only played it from the start, like 1 or 2 hours. But the focus seems to be much less on puzzles and much more on action. But hopefully, like I said, the gameplay is much better now, so I actually enjoy the combat. I actually enjoy the action part of the game. But there's much less focus, and I'm pretty sure it goes the whole game. There are just fewer puzzles than in the first game, and that is, I would say, I'm a little bit disappointed about that, because I always love puzzles in games, whether it be like action adventure, first person shooter, platformer even. Usually platformers doesn't really have puzzles, very light ones, but anyway, I love puzzles. And of course puzzles are very important in adventure games like Broken Sword and other point and click adventures, which I also love. I haven't really told, I don't think ever, but I'm a big fan of Broken Sword games. They are just magnificent games, just awesome game series. But anyway, back to puzzles. There's a definitely less focus on puzzles, it seems, this time. But I still hope there will be some puzzles in Hollow 2, because if it's only action, it will definitely have an impact on the atmosphere. It will little bit ruin the atmosphere, but gladly, even if the focus is more on action, I think the next I'm going to the atmosphere part of the game, and I think the whole atmosphere is very good in the sequel also, so I'm really relieved to inform that the atmosphere is still very good in the sequel. Maybe that's the only part of the game that's, I think, is maybe better on the first game, just slightly better. But then again, I have only played the beginning of the sequel, so it can change. But the atmosphere so far has been actually really good, like in the first game. But maybe not on the par, just not on the par with the first game. But yeah, like I would say the only minus things about Halo 2 for now is the lack of puzzles. Of course, there's been some puzzles already, but very, very few compared to the first game's amount of puzzles. And yeah, one quite big minus for me is that this sequel lacks the option of invert y-axis for up and down looking. So I'm used to the inverted y-axis control. So when you push up the right stick, it looks down. If you push it down, it looks up. So Halo 2 doesn't have that. But of course I can play that way, but it just gets some time to use to those non-inverted y-axis controls. But I really hope they will add that in the upcoming and future patches. I hope they are, improving the game post-launch with patches and updates. And I really hope that they will add the invert y-axis option here. So I was a little bit shocked that it doesn't have that, because in my opinion every first person or third person like shooter games should have an option for inverted y-axis controls, definitely, because I'm guessing majority, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing majority of players chooses to play with invert y-axis controls, because I think just that is much more natural. But then again, I can only say about myself. But yeah, still that is a little bit disappointing that Halo 2 doesn't have at this moment the invert y-axis control option. I can't really remember if the first game had it. I think it had that, so it's, but I'm not sure. But if the first game had it, it would be really weird for the sequel to not have that. But then again, I hope they will add that option, so it will so I myself will be able to play it with like much easier for me to play it with that option on. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I'm really happy that it turned out to be actually a good game, because I was so worried that they would mess this one up again. And yeah, especially after all these delays, like 2.5 years late. But yeah, it's finally here, and it's actually good. It's not great, but it's definitely good. A huge step from the first game. So if you were interested and you were a fan of Halo 1 but was disappointed like myself for the whole, you know, uh, for the game, pick this one up. I can surely say it is much better game. And also, like I mentioned on the earlier video about my Switch, just showing that, yeah, Halo 2 is out and etc. I said that you get, I actually said wrong, I said 15, but I meant 50% off, so half the price. So you get Halo 2 for 10 euros. I don't know how much that is in American dollars or British pounds or any other currencies, but you get it for 10 euros if you have bought earlier any other Forever Entertainment game like Halo 1, Panzer Dragoon Remake, or yeah, there's at the Halo 2 page there's a long list of games that if you have bought any of those games earlier, you get automatically 50% off of Halo 2. So it's pretty cheap also, 10 euros for this game. So pick it up if you really want a horror FPS on Switch, and there aren't many. Like back in 2018 when Halo 1 was released, that was a much bigger problem. There weren't actually, like Halo 1 was the first horror FPS for Switch pretty much. Okay, maybe there was one or two others. Today, yes, there's nowadays much more on eShop. Also some horror FPSs, but still there aren't that many quality horror FPSs. So if you're interested, I'll recommend this game. Yeah, don't worry, it's not nearly not as bad as Halo 1. They actually this time made it a good game. Hallelujah. Yeah, but this is it now. And also, as you can see, I'm making a video from this point of view again. For a long time, like I earlier said, I started doing my YouTube videos from this point of view, and I might be doing more often from this point, but that doesn't mean I won't be doing from my usual spot, from my gaming chair, from my bedroom. I'll definitely be doing, I would say, the majority of my videos from there, but yeah, this is just this might be more often this thing from now on, because yeah, I just kind of love it, the idea going back to where it all started, when my channel just started picking up, and yeah, this is just very nostalgic for me, but I don't think there's many of my subscribers now who have actually followed me from the very start, or just, if not from the start, but actually have gone back like subscribe my channel just this not this year. Last year I was still on 2021, but yeah, last year, but just were curious about watching my very early material. But yeah, if you have watched my much older videos, you are very familiar with this spot in that case. But yeah, enough of my blabbering. But yeah, Hollow 2 in a nutshell is actually good game this time. And yeah, I hope this year will be a good year. Let's hope it that way, and maybe this ongoing pandemic will, gets easier. Maybe it will get easier this year, but who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? I mean, it has gone quite worse lately, unfortunately, but yeah, with new variants coming, and yeah, I'm not going to talk about maybe some other day if I'm going to do another pandemic video rant or whatever. But yeah, see you in the next video. And yeah, of course, well, this is not pretty much okay, some little news, but yeah, Tim Haywood, the Shadow Man music composer, just posted on Facebook, I think, yeah, yesterday, that Happy New Year and etc. And said that yes, it's been confirmed that the Switch version is coming 17th of January, which is quite weird because Tim also said that Night Dive hasn't still done their press release as of now, but it should be coming soon, and I'm just wondering what takes so long. I mean, of course I don't know how things really are and how things work with these press releases. Yeah, it seems that it's quite slow process to get all things together and actually do the fucking press release. But yeah, it should be coming soon. We are still waiting for their official word, but it seems like at least the Switch version is confirmed to come in 17th of January, so in 15 days. Weirdly, Tim didn't said that about the PlayStation 4 version, but he said that PlayStation version seems like it's coming a little bit earlier. Yeah, he just said seems to be, so he's just trusting that 13th of January release date shown on PS Store page. So, and he didn't mention anything about the Xbox One version, so it seems like the Xbox One version is still missing in action, or it might be cleared too, but the Microsoft just hasn't added that game to the Xbox Store yet for some reason. I'm thinking it is cleared. I personally think all the 3 versions are cleared now. But the Xbox version is the only that isn't added to the store yet. Because why otherwise Switch version be confirmed to come in 17th of January and PlayStation version 13th of January if it's still up in the air, the Xbox version. Okay, anyway, so I hope Night Dive will actually do very soon, like next week, the press release, and we'll get the official word finally when these 3 versions are coming. Are they coming on the same day, or like it seems on different dates now? But anyway, yeah, it's been half an hour now already. So it seems like Shadow Man Remastered for consoles is coming about in 2 weeks now for hopefully all the platforms. But yeah, see you in the next video. Bye!